Hello and welcome to TelecomTV. We're here at the OpenStack Summit 2016 in Barcelona in Spain, and I'm talking with Toby Ford, who is Assistant VP at AT&T. Toby, welcome. Thanks for talking to us.
You're welcome. Thanks.
One of the things that seems to be happening a lot, many of the people I've spoken to here, much of the focus now is suddenly very much on telcos' involvement in OpenStack and what that means. So I know it's a subject you're interested in, so talk to us about that to begin with.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome, the growth that we've seen in terms of telecom participation in OpenStack. We started a few years ago talking about NFV and SDN and how important it was as a workload for us, for OpenStack to focus on, but now we're seeing the fruits of that work with all the different Chinese companies showing up, China Mobile, China Telecom, Deutsche Telekom, these companies, Orange, these all are active participants in OpenStack today, and it's quite exciting to see not only them, but also the ecosystem around them. It's really exciting, that growth.
Why is the emphasis changing, Toby? I didn't originally, there's a lot of emphasis on the enterprise, virtual CPE, still is to some extent, and so on, and there was a lot of looking at networks within the enterprise and corporate networks and things like that. And now, not suddenly, but the spotlight has shifted over to what's being called Carrier Grade NFV. Why, and what does that mean?
As an industry, the telcos have needed the same kind of benefits that the enterprise we're seeing with cloud and with OpenStack and what it provides. And so we're trying to build on that, take what OpenStack gives us and make it something that actually can meet our requirements. So meet the sort of availability numbers, the 6 nines, the kind of like always on availability that you get from the telcos. We want to transition that into what OpenStack can do. And then as well, in terms of the distribution, it's not just a headquarters building. For us, it's the last mile, it's the customers. So it could be everyone's neighborhood or everyone's business that has to have some part of a piece of OpenStack there with them to help us manage resources and either server, storage, or network that's there. So OpenStack's a real integral part of that, getting out there. But there's work to do to make it whole that way.
You gave a presentation here. What was it about? What did you cover? Was it allied to telco NFV?
There's some about orchestration and the specific telco industry needs around orchestration and making the virtual network functions work. So that's one part. Network integration, how we integrate our network needs, which is materially different than enterprise needs, into the OpenStack ecosystem. That's another part of it. And then, the outreach to NFV partners and companies, that's another factor that we're talking about as well.
Of course, at the base of everything we've been talking about is OpenStack. What's happening there? What progress is being made that you can see happening as far as Carrier Grade NFV is concerned and OpenStack itself?
Sure. So we're seeing with the big tent part of OpenStack, the initiative to expand the scope and cover areas that maybe we didn't cover before. You see projects like Congress with policy, or TACR with trying to cover the Mano specification for METSI, or Murano or Mistral. These projects are forming, or Vitrage. We saw a great demo yesterday at the keynote about using a combination of OpenStack projects and OPNFV projects to actually make an NFV workload real and available. So that's exciting part of how OpenStack is evolving with its big tent strategy to cover our needs.
As far as you and AT&T are concerned, when you're working in an OpenStack environment, what does the ecosystem comprise, and what are your relationships like with the various members of that?
So at the beginning, it was very much about us and our vendors. The typical network vendors, Cisco's, Ericsson's, Nokia's, Juniper's, they're all, Huawei's, they're all part of that ecosystem. But now it's gone to the next level, where we're partnering with other telcos to help make this real. And that's really the exciting part of open source, applying open source to telecom that we'd never really done before, is it reduces the IP friction between all of the telcos so that we feel more comfortable sharing. And then where there's really the potential for reuse and the table stakes work. And it turns out we can still differentiate with certain parts, but at the core, we can really share and work together to solve our problems. And we have a new set of competitors, so we really have to work together to make it work. So that's the new kind of ecosystem in OpenStack.
When we were off camera, we were talking about the new dynamic as well, and you mentioned the fact, the move to the edge. And much more focus. You mentioned it briefly just now. Getting closer to the last mile, getting closer to the customer. Is that happening now? And if so, how? And what kind of products are in the pipeline?
One big thing that we're investing in is the move to 5G. And 5G requires what we call densification. So a lot more antennas much closer to the user. Sure. So that's one place we're focused on investing, and it's a little bit of a different workload type than what OpenStack has traditionally dealt with. So it's traditionally been in the data center or in a smaller office. What we're asking it to do is actually manage resources like this, antennas or base stations that are near the edge, or client premise equipment that we put at your house or at a business offices. We want to manage that more with OpenStack, and that's how both the workloads are changing and how our expectations of OpenStack are changing as well.
Toby Ford, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.